Hey guys, Dave and Len here. We just played the Battle of Raphia. What was this, in 217 BC? It's from Mark Miller and GDW published it. It's essentially the battle between the Seleucids and the Ptolemaics. Seleucid leader was Antiochus, and the Ptolemy leader, I think, was just Ptolemy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so historically the Egyptians won, who were the Ptolemaics, and that's what happened in this game we just played too. But yeah, the game, it was okay. It was fun to play. It's not the best ancient game I played, and I personally think all ancient games should be played on square grids instead of hex maps, but that's something I can make a whole video about. And also it had stacking in it in the beginning of the first 2 or 3 turns in the game are a headache with the stacking, because the counters are glossy on top and they keep falling over and stuff, but once you get past the first 3 turns and some stuff has died and the stacks get smaller, the game gets better. One thing interesting about this with the stacking, though, I think this part of the stacking he did right, even though I'm not much into the stacking for ancient games, is you stack at the beginning of the game, you create your stacks, and if something due to morale or whatever leaves that stack, or you voluntarily leave the stack for the rest of the game, it cannot join another stack. So that makes it so if you got some morale checks against, like, say, a 3-unit stack, one of them retreated, and he doesn't end up going off the board later. When he comes back, he can never rejoin another stack. So then you get the player who retreated, he's got weaker units then, so that was kind of interesting. But you played the game, you said you found some issues in it.
Okay. Well, first of all, we were fighting over who gets to play Cleopatra. Elizabeth Taylor or Angela Jolie. And Elizabeth Taylor won. Of course, that was the historical result. I hate you roll for initiative. I hate that.
Yeah, so do I.
That knocks down a game by 1. And there was no modifier for flank attacks.
True. That was kind of odd, because I mean, pike units generally, if they got hit on the flank or the rear, they just disintegrate. So yeah, that was a problem with the rules too.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe it had something about if you hit them on the flank, your combat rating is doubled.
Yeah, exactly. And if it gets hit in the rear, then the combat rating would have been quadrupled or something. But there was no rear facing for these. I mean, everything had a front facing and a flank facing.
Yeah. So there's no additional effect, which is just like the stacking. They could probably reorganize the units. Of course, I think the only time they should stack in this is maybe a light infantry with elephants.
Well, that's how the rules were. Yeah, you had to stack with your own type of troops. So if you're heavy infantry, you can only stack with heavy infantry. The only exception to that is light infantry can stack with elephants, which makes sense because generally when elephants attacked, not always, but they usually had some light infantry supporting them.
Yeah. Oh, another thing is the cavalry should be able to withdraw when attacked solely by infantry.
True. They didn't have that rule, but they did have a rule for the light infantry. If you're just a 1-spear light infantry and someone announces they're going to attack you, you have the option to retreat. I never used that option.
Yeah, you stood defiant.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you lost.
No, that's not why I lost. The reason I lost is because the Ptolemaics have way more heavy infantry. The Seleucids have more elephants and light infantry, but elephants and light infantry don't win battles. Heavy infantry wins battles, so this is heavily favored for the Ptolemaics. So if you're going to play this, most likely the Egyptians are going to win. Unless you're playing against like an experienced player who has some kind of plan or something that's really good, you might be able to pull off a Seleucid victory, but generally the Ptolemaics are going to win a game like this.
Well, the thing is, you had better morale than I did. You notice that I think half my losses were guys who retreated off the map.
Right, but a lot of those who retreated later rallied and came back, though. So, I mean... You're right. I did have better morale, but if we both had equal morale, I mean the Seleucids would have lost by about turn 5.
Well, actually, I was thinking your flanks had better morale, and you're beginning to push in the center. It's just that I made sure that there was a second line. And that's the only reason why, you know.
Well, I mean, you completely wiped out both of my flanks because I had so little heavy infantry. It all had to stay in the center. So, I mean, the flanks were had medium infantry and cavalry, and that stuff gets wiped out when you attack it with heavy infantry. So
That's right.
yeah, so if you like playing a game where the Egyptians usually win, this is the one for you.
All right.
I mean, that's historical, though. I mean, that's what happened in real life, so I mean, you can't knock the game author for that. I mean, that's actually a historical result. So, I mean, actually, in real life, the Seleucid leader Antiochus or whatever probably was a better general than Ptolemy, but Ptolemy had a better force. He had Egyptian phalanxes, which were untried in battle. Before that, all phalanxes were either Greek or Macedonian. So I think this was the first time they're tried in battle, and the Egyptian phalanxes did very well in real life, just like they did in this game.
Yeah. So, okay, so when Compass Games decides to reprint this, hope they follow our suggestions.
Yeah, even if they don't, that's still worth getting. I mean, it is a fun game to play. It's got some issues, but it's fun to play. So
yeah, this is an old-fashioned game where you have lots of counters and you roll for combat constantly up and down the. It's like if you have 1 to 2 odds. It's, Oh, you were mentioning about.
Oh yeah, there's no defender or there's no attacker retreats and no attacker killed results in this. So if there were, probably the game would have went faster.
Yeah, because you got a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 odds. You roll a dice. Maybe you roll a box of cards and knock off a unit. It's worth it. That slows down the game.
So there's only 3 results you can get in combat. You can get no effect. You can get morale check, or you can get eliminated, which just eliminates the top unit in the stack. With the morale check, you got to roll morale, and then if you roll poorly, then you have to retreat such and such amount of spaces, depending on your movement. I feel it would have been better if it was just an automatic. Say you have to retreat 1 space automatically, or 2 spaces or something. Having to roll like 8 or 9 times per turn or more. Actually, more than that, probably about 12 times per turn for morale. Kind of gets tedious, but yeah, like I said, overall the game, it's got issues, but it's fun to play. So, do I recommend it? Yeah, I'd recommend it. I mean, you can pick this up on a used market for like $18. So for an $18 used game, I think you'll have fun playing it a few times, and you'll feel you got your money's worth, even though there's some issues. What do you think?
Yeah, it's worth getting.
Yep. All right, that's all we got, guys. Have a good one.